Welcome to Myths. I'm Matt Huss.
And I'm Dan Rhodes. Whether you know about Theseus or you're revising your syllabus,
If you want tales with a bit of jest, or you just want to hear about incest.
What?
What? It's really interesting.
Welcome to Myths. Welcome to Myths.
Hello and welcome to episode 130 of Myths, your favourite weekly come monthly come biannual podcast. Hello! I'm Matt.
Hello. Matthew, you can introduce me to the people that don't know who I am.
I'm Matt Hoss, I'm your esteemed host, and today we are introducing our fantastic guest, not lead host. It's Dan Rhodes.
Yes, I am a... Wait, so this whole time I've just been a reoccurring guest.
We've talked about this before for sure, but I feel you're definitely you're sometimes a guest.
Yeah.
I feel like
Sometimes I'm not even a listener.
like in certain bands they have a Bez, and a Bez kind of comes on, shakes maracas, kind of gets the party going. You don't get the party going on this podcast. You just turn up regularly to shake maracas and disrupt stuff. Because this would have been a very educational podcast if you weren't here to add levity to it.
Oh, Matthew, make no qualms about it. This podcast could have been a lot of things.
It could have been.
It could have been.
It could have been so
Coulda, woulda,
much.
shoulda. Yeah.
It could have won a Chortle Award, but it hasn't.
It hasn't. It could have had more than 100 listeners, but it didn't.
It could have had more than 10 listeners, but it didn't. But kudos to people, listener. If you made it this far and you're like, you know what, this is like you are like deep. You're deep, like Matt and Dan fans now. You are the last in line. You know what I mean? You're the one who's holding down the fort. Everyone else is gone. You're staying up to that civilization. Which, I think that's pretty cool.
There's been many. Like normally we we used to start doing myths at least once a week. Definitely every Monday. Then it became kind of bi-weekly. I mean, Matt alluded to this joke at the beginning. Then it became bi-weekly. And then, we're not going to lie, there was a big gap between last episode 129, and this episode. COVID happened. We'll talk about it in a minute. Matt bought a house. Anyway, things happened. So if you're sticking with this episode and you wondered maybe what had happened or if we were dead, unfortunately, no. We're still here and we're carrying on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're doing good. I feel like... I do feel bad because I'm not sure. Right, let's be honest here, Dan. Like, here's the thing. As I get older, each week goes on, and especially because I'm working a lot more like hours these days as well, because comedy isn't paying the bills. But
and actually, when we started this podcast many years ago, believe it or not, I really took for granted that Matt was just an unemployed bum the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely, and I just. There's not that much time to chase up Dan. In fact, these days Dan chases up me, that is, I've got to say, out of this, that is bad. That's, you know how bad I'm slipping if that's the case. But Dan, yeah, I think I'm too harsh to you. You're very you do care about this, you know. And we are trying. But I just find like it's so hard to find time anymore, and not just like, oh, I'm busy with my diary. It's like you start the week, or it's Monday morning, you blink, and it's the weekend. It's like, what the fuck happened to my week? Where's all this time gone? Do you know what I mean? Do you feel like that?
I don't feel as bad because unlike you, I obviously as a prank I did buy you that time machine.
Oh yeah,
and it goes off without you knowing. It's in the room. One of the items in your room.
Do I have to guess which one it is?
Yeah. One of the items that I may or may not have bought you before for Christmas and / your birthday is actually Secret Time Machine, and I turn it on. I don't even know where you go. I just I'm in my house and I just click a button knowing that it sent you somewhere forward in time.
Well, that does make sense because last week I was in Mesopotamia and I was like, oh, when did I get here? And then the other week I met King Arthur. That was another. It's all right. That makes a lot more sense. Cheers, Dan.
You just wake up in a field surrounded by Vikings, and you're like, this is weird, but I'm sure it's fine.
No, that was 100. Episode 101. That was the live special at the Jorvik Centre. So that obviously, Dan.
Matthew, can we talk a bit about how last I spoke to you, you were looking to purchase a house?
Yep, and so here's the deal, Dan. Sadly, even though we haven't spoken for like a month and a half, not much has happened because of the. But yeah, we got an offer on a house. We got a house we really, really love. It's really, really gorgeous. We're just waiting for solicitors. And Dan, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna set an offence in this one. But solicitors can go fuck themselves. If you're a solicitor, you know what? I just hate spending money. Do you know what I mean? Like, because here's my frustration, Dan. Like, and this is I'm getting old now. This is back when we started this. I was like, boohoo girls. Now solicitors, they're my ire. Because
now it's not boohoo. When we started this podcast, you were sad about your love life and you were sleeping in your car. Now you have a girlfriend you're buying a house with. This podcast changes lives. You've heard it here first.
Still sleeping in my car, but
yeah, that's still but no, solicitor. Hey, look, I've got friends who are the solicitors. I've got colleagues who used to be solicitors, and they all pretty much say the same thing. It's you know, they can't help it. They're doing a job. You know, they got documents to read. It can't be that fun doing what they do.
Well, I know, but I don't care if it's fun. You're being paid for the notes. I don't mind paying them so much, but like I hate just. Overall, I hate hidden like fees. You know what I mean? But like, you turn up and be like, actually, you have to pay £50 for an admin fee. £50 for an admin fee? What are you talking about? And they get the details wrong. And you know what? From now on, I'm in my comedy clubs when I run gigs. I'm gonna find people who are like lawyers or solicitors or maybe not them because they may probably doing a good job. Like, but like if they're like just like for boring shit like housing marketers, I'll be like, right, every time you laugh, I'm gonna add a laughter tax. You laugh, that's £10, mate. You know what I mean? It's like that. Like I'm so angry, Dan. How are you?
Okay. This is obviously a podcast. I've been aware of that many times. But when we do the podcast, I can actually see Matt. We don't allow you guys to see our gross-looking faces, but I can see Matt, and he went apoplectic just then. He literally looked
like a beetroot.
Yeah, he literally couldn't speak. No, I get you. Look, I've never, I'm not gonna pretend I don't know what it's like to buy a house, but I imagine I hear about these things, hidden lawyers' fees. It takes a long time. They get details wrong, so then you're like, why am I paying you £50 an hour if you can't even spell my name right?
Yeah, and like they don't CC me in emails and stuff like that, and also they got our postcode wrong, but not on the letter they sent to us, on the most important document as well. It's just like I just want to put a corkscrew in my eyes, you know what I mean? Like, and make myself like an eyeball colada, do you know what I mean? That's too graphic.
And when do you hope it's all going to be accepted and whatnot?
Hopefully moving in by early September, but we just don't know yet, Dan. And hopefully,
has it been accepted at all?
Offer's been accepted. It's just waiting for exchanging contracts and stuff like that, and mortgage and all the bits and pieces.
But that will happen in time. Like, if it's been accepted, that's the main thing.
Absolutely. So it's all looking good, and Dan should come up and visit.
Oh, I will.
Do you want to be a lodger?
Yeah.
Do you want to pay my mortgage, Dan?
I'll be a lodger. How much would you charge me to stay there for one whole month?
Okay, for a whole month. And it's you by yourself, or
no, it's me.
You know what, Dan?
And my world-class banter.
That's going to be it. That's going to be an additional fee, I'm afraid.
I mean, it's not world-class. It's not.
Well, I think I'm going to charge you. I actually, if you want to stay there for a month, you can stay there for free. You're welcome. Wow. You're a friend.
You drive a hard bargain, my friend. I think I'll pass.
You're such an asshole. All right.
I was willing to negotiate, but you've gone in too hard. I can't be having that.
Right. I'm gonna be okay. Fine. What I'm gonna do is I am going to pay you £200.
Yes, that's what I was hoping for. Yeah.
Okay, that's you. You know, fair dues. But yeah, Dan, how are you doing? How's life for you?
I'm new good, man. I'm good. I started kind of a different job within my job. I've been doing that now the last month. That's really kicked off recently. Still working for the government.
Obviously, you can't say what part of the government. We can't.
Yeah, I can't tell you that I work for the government.
Which government either.
Or which government? Yes.
Zimbabwe. Yeah. I mean, not Zimbabwe.
No.
The government you work for.
No.
is very likes you a lot.
Which may or may not be Zimbabwe.
It may or may not, but most likely is.
Harare is a beautiful place, and I'd highly recommend going there.
And Dan, I'm funny you should say that, Dan. Do you feel like you are? Do you still kind of like obviously your previous job? Sadly, was a travel agency. Do you
Flushed
still
down the toilet of COVID?
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. Is that something you're looking back to get back into, or are you kind of that dream's dead? Is it?
You know what? Working for the government, I actually really enjoy. I work 9 to 5. No one's expecting me to stay past 5. I just go home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I have flexi time, which means that they're very good about me having time off if I needed it. I haven't used it yet, but I know it's there. In fact, I'm using it to go home now. I'm going to a friend's on Friday. Like a mutual friend of mine and Matt's, my friend Dan. Shout out to Dan. He lives in Cardiff. I'm going to haven't seen him in a long time. I'm going to see him. It means I can take a half day on Friday. They allow me to have these things that I didn't have at my previous job when I was doing like 8:30 till 6:30.
Yeah.
And I was getting the train, which means that I wasn't actually getting home until 7:30. Then your whole day is gone.
Yeah.
Also, this job actually, probably as an average for the year, it probably actually pays me slightly less, but at least I get the same amount every month. Whereas my previous job was commission. Some months were wildly different to the months before in terms of pay, and I don't like that, you know. So this is all good. There's not the stresses of targets.
Yeah.
I'm not selling anything to anyone. I'm not having to like, you know, selling's hard, right? I'm quite good at it, but it's hard because my ex-manager is probably listening to this. Shout out to Noah. He'll probably disagree heavily.
A lot of shout outs today.
A lot of shout outs. Look,
can I do a shout out?
But I should say this because some of my old colleagues might be listening to this, or one of them.
Hope the workout's going okay.
The one thing I really miss, and I look, nothing of the people I work with currently are great, but I do really miss the people I used to work with in my office. I do miss that. So shout out to all my old flight centre peeps.
But also, well, as you alluded to, and I don't want to necessarily go into too much detail if you're not comfortable, but Dan, how are you feeling after the kind of quote Freedom Day on the 19th of July? Because this is about 2 weeks after that. Things are how is life for you right now, Dan?
It's good. Freedom Day happened. It is well. I didn't know this until Freedom Day that it is still frowned upon to cough in people's mouths on the cheek.
That's how I say hello.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know, but I've learned that now. No, it's not really Freedom Day though, because I don't know about you, Matt. I'm still being quite good. I'm still wearing masks where possible, particularly on public transport. You know, even walking from like one table to another in a bar, I'm still wearing masks. I haven't really gone out that much. I'm still being very good about people I'm with. I don't want to, you know, I'm a bit hesitant still to be the whole hugging, shaking hands. I don't know. It's still kind of there, particularly in my area in London, South London. It's I mean, my housemate had it very recently. Loads of people at work had it. It's still definitely happening. I feel like I'm kind of in the epicenter of it at the moment here in London. We've got a lot of it still, so it's not gone for sure here, but maybe up north's different.
Well, actually, I think up north is pretty bad too. It was pretty rampant up here for a while.
No, but what about the COVID?
Not so bad actually. Yeah, no, but it was like it was really bad, and also there's less people, more spread out, but they are far more laissez-faire about stuff. Like people are like, oh, it's fine, and they've just come back to normal. And I'm the one person in my office just been like, please wear a face mask, you super spreader. And like everyone's like, yeah, we're very good at wearing masks. Like, none of you wore a mask for the last 3 months. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, it just annoys me.
At work, they're very hot on it though, because we have members of the public coming in to have appointments and interviews and stuff, and they're hot on it with their masks and screens and stuff like that.
Yeah, bless you. But, well, you know, and Dan, is there anything else in your life right now? Anything else big?
No.
No. Oh.
No, just chilling. Had to self-isolate. We're all good. I was a bit annoyed that the only 10 days of sunshine we seem to have this summer was the 10 days I was self-isolating. I don't have a garden. That was a bit sad.
And Dan, did you get up to anything in those 10 days?
I'm watching a lot of Lost.
Maybe you could do something to help this podcast. Maybe in those 10 days.
I can't think of anything that this podcast would need that I haven't already done.
But yeah, Dan. Tomorrow I'm heading down to my brother's wedding. I've got a double wedding. I've got Friday and Saturday back to back. Friend's wedding on Friday. Brother's wedding on Saturday. Pretty tired, but it's gonna be fun.
You're gonna be a mess.
But yes, but that's before I was going to the wedding anyway.
That's gonna be really good. Are you super excited about your brother's wedding?
It's more like it's a lot of logistics to
Where is he having the
travel
wedding? He lives
in Kent.
in Kent. Oh, the very opposite end of the country. He's made that really good for you guys.
Yeah, he's really.
He's got. Where do my family live? Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'll do the exact opposite side.
He's trying to get away from us, and it's only partially worked, but never mind.
Is your mum super excited?
Oh, it's like catnip. You know what I mean?
Are your mum and dad going to travel down? Are he traveling with you, or how's that?
Well, I wasn't sure if I should mention this necessarily in the podcast because it's maybe not the. It's not really the most happy.
You can tell
subject.
me then edit it out.
No, it's okay. I'm happy to be honest with it. My dad has decided not to go to the wedding, that's pretty bad, right?
Why?
I can't say too much, but I would say that he has lied about lots of stuff. But basically, I don't think he wants to see a lot of people there. Yeah.
It's the people he may run into.
But then again, I think you can just be civil for a day, right?
It's your son's wedding, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty it's not exactly yeah, it's one of those things. How
is Alex? Is he okay with that?
I actually think he's relieved
because he now won't have to deal with the drama of your dad running into these people that he's
yeah, and I just feel funny. I also he hasn't been down to see Flora, who is my niece / his granddaughter, and I just feel like. I'll just rope in that relationship now. I think there should be like a drop off point. It's like I'm done with that now. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair. That's sad, but I get it. The wedding will be awesome though.
I think instead
your mother will more than make up for it in excitement and
for sure. And it's always been the three of us really at the heart of it. But I think I might take dad applications. I might get a new dad. And could your mum be my new dad?
But my mum is also my dad.
Well, I just want to be adopted by a mum, really. Is that okay?
No, she'll be fine. I love my dad. You'll be fine. You can have my mum as your dad.
This is getting really confusing. My mum, my dad? Right. Anyway,
I'm confused. Whose dad is going to be my mum?
Right, do you want my dad?
Okay, let's do a mum-dad swap. Your dad becomes my mum and my mum becomes... Yes.
Wicked. Done. Seal the deal. Let's do a myth, which, I'll be honest, right? If you're here just for the myth, you're going to be really disappointed. That's a reason we filled
We'll explain after the jingle. See you on the other side.
Right, Dan, do you want to explain? This isn't even a Miss podcast anymore, is it?
What's happened, guys, is we alluded to this in the last episode. We've been doing the Mayas. We've been really enjoying them, haven't we, Matt? Really enjoying the Mayas in our Miscellaneous Season 3. Why? Okay, Matt just did a gag face in the screen. What are you doing?
I coughed really loudly, but I did it on mute, so just thought I'd freak you out.
It looked like you were like when cats start retching. Right. Anyway. Yeah, we've been doing the Mayas. It's been awesome. But as with always, when we get to the end of it happened with the Greeks and even the Romans after lots of episodes. Eventually, the Egyptians, even after a wonderful, fruitful amount of stories and legends and myths, eventually they run out, right? We start scraping the barrel, so to speak.
We should have a jingle for scraping the barrel.
We should.
We're scraping the barrel, and it's like the last one of the. You know what I mean?
That's your problem to organise that. That's You just giving yourself work. Thank you.
Okay, we're not gonna have a jingle.
But no, the problem is we alluded last time, I think, in episode 129. The Mayans, there aren't a huge amount of stuff on them, and unfortunately, this will be the last Mayan myth.
But it's going to be a good one, I'm very, very sure.
It's going to be a good one. It's not the longest, which is what Matt was kind of alluding to before. There's a high chance that the chatting may be longer at the beginning than the actual myth. But you know what? Let's do them justice. Hopefully it's a good one. Give them a good send out.
Here we
go.
So
far, we have really enjoyed the Mayans. A big shout out. Short but sweet.
You know what? And I feel like that's the whole point of this season, if we can call it a season, to kind of like to experiment with different cultures and see what they got. Like, go for the big hitters, you know?
Matt, I never told you something to do with the word myths I wanted to talk to you about.
Yes.
At work currently, there's some guidance that have changed, and every day I have to use the term minimum income floor. That's a big part of my job now. And minimum income floor, abbreviated, is myth. So people refer to it as myth. I hear that word 10 times a day now.
And there was actually a festival, I think it was called the Manchester Independent Fringe or something like that. And I was like, myth? We should sue the government.
We should. Ours is double F though, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, we can reduce it down and pretend it's always been like that. True. Welcome to myth.
Yeah. Anyway, let's crack on with the last of the Mayas in this season of Miscellaneous. Matt, would you like to, maybe you could take it away.
Okay, so this is Gift to the Hummingbird, a Mayan legend. Zunum, is that right? Zunum, the hummingbird, was created by the Great Spirit as a tiny, delicate bird with extraordinary flying ability. She was the only bird in the kingdom who could fly backwards and who could hover in one spot for several seconds. The hummingbird was very plain. Her feathers had no bright colours, yet she didn't mind. Zunum took pride in her flying skill and was very happy with her life despite her looks. And I feel like this is a good message of body positivity, you know, like you are happy in the skin you're in, and actually you have a lot going for your hummingbird. Yeah, I love hummingbirds.
They're really cool.
Do you think, if you had to be a bird, Dan, what kind of bird would you be? Are you a hummingbird? A seagull?
A woodpecker? A colleague at work recently broke his foot being chased by a seagull.
What? And that colleague was me.
Yeah. If I was a bird, I'd like to think I was some kind of giant golden eagle soaring high above the mountains.
God damn, I love Brian.
But actually, let's be honest, I'm probably maybe I'd be a magpie.
Yeah, I feel you're a magpie. I don't want to say you're a full Tory, but you're a bit Lib Dem, and I feel like that's a magpie territory for sure.
Yeah. What bird would you be?
I think a pelican.
Yes, I see that actually.
Yeah, I've got a lot on, and it looks like I can carry a lot of water.
A lot of extra skin.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a shoebill? You know a shoebill?
Yes, yeah.
I feel like in 40 years we'll both be a shoebill. If you've never seen a shoebill, Google one, and they are terrifying birds. They are like, if meth did birds, that's that. You know what I mean? They're badass.
Especially ones where they've had been in a fight, they've got bits of feathers missing, and they're just like a mess.
Yeah, absolutely. They are the people who hang around petrol stations willing to pick a fight. That's who they are in the bird world. So hummingbird Zunum is happy and flying. When it came time to be married, Zunum found that she had neither a wedding gown nor a necklace. She was so disappointed and sad that some of her best friends decided to create a wedding dress and jewelry as a surprise. Now, here's a question, Dan. Did you know that? Did you know? Can birds get married? You know what I mean? What's the deal there?
Well, a lot of birds do mate for life, don't they?
Do they?
Well, I say a lot of birds. I can think of two.
Yeah, two birds. Is a hummingbird one of them?
Maybe hummingbirds. I can't imagine hummingbirds do mate for life, to be honest.
And how? Because hummingbird has a really fast heart. Do you reckon the marriages are over really fast?
Per minute or something crazy.
And you say that's fast. That's actually how fast my heart goes all the time. Coffee! And yeah, that's why I do these podcasts really fast. So So we're gonna mate for life. Dan, are you gonna mate for life too?
I hope so. Yeah.
Got any
To a
partners on the
human,
scene?
not a hummingbird.
No, I think you could fuck a hummingbird.
And it's quokka.
Anyway, Yar, the Vermilion Crown flycatcher, wore a gay crimson ring of feathers around his throat in those days. He decided to use it as his gift. So he tucked a few red plumes in his crown and gave the rest to the hummingbird for her necklace. Uchilchil, the bluebird, generously donated several blue feathers for her gown. The vain Mot, not to be outdone, offered more turquoise, blue, and emerald green. The cardinal, likewise, gave some red ones. Now, I'm slowly remembering what happened in the last one. There was a lot of birds in that. They chose the king of birds, right?
They chose the king of birds, and the roadrunner basically got screwed over, and then all the birds felt sorry for him, so they gave them bits of their feathers to say sorry.
They like to give feathers, don't they?
They do. What else are they going to give?
Well, I don't know, like a deposit towards a mortgage.
Yes, but birds, particularly birds of the Amazon, are famous for their mortgage lending abilities.
Yeah, all those legal fees too. They're absolutely.
Here we see the two hummingbirds signing deeds.
They got my name wrong, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Bloody solicitors.
Dan, do you want to do the next bit, or are you? Do you want me to do all of it?
No, I'll give it a go. So they've all given different feathers to the hummingbird because she didn't have a nice thing to wear for her wedding. Very nice of people. Imagine your wedding, you don't have a wedding dress, so people just give you bits of their own clothes. You'd actually look pretty shit, like rocking up.
All their own skin. Just like, yeah, here's my forearms.
Oh, here's my wig. Then, Yuyam. It's a type of baked good, isn't it? Then Yuyam, the Oriole, who was an excellent tailor as well as an engineer, sewed up all the plumage into an exquisite wedding gown for the little hummingbird. Aluem, the spider, crept up with a fragile web woven of shiny, gossamer threads for her veil. She helped Mrs. Yuyam weave intricate designs into the dress. Kanak, the honeybee, heard about the wedding dress and told all his friends who knew and liked the hummingbird. They brought much honey and nectar for the reception, and hundreds of blossoms that were Sunam's favourites. She's a popular person, by the way. I like this. She's one of these people, not the best looking, but everyone really a big fan. Yeah, everyone's getting behind. Like, oh, yeah, she's not a looker, but like, oh, we have a lot of time for her. Great person. Love that little hummingbird. That's basically the situation, right?
Yeah, and I kind of feel like I think it's a bit harsh to say she's boring looking, but yeah. And
that's
also,
what they implied. They said at the start that she wasn't, despite her looks, she was very well liked.
I thought you were bird shaming.
I am bird shaming.
Firstly, well, actually, we'll just go like. I think this is oddly appropriate because, like, we're having a wedding-themed myth before I go to a wedding. We almost planned it. We didn't plan it, but you know what I mean. Like, this is good. But yeah, it's nice. There's a lot of. I feel like we've got quite high morals because, like, there's a lot of nice and kindness here, right?
There is. Then the azar tree dropped a carpet of petals over the ground where the ceremony could take place. She offered to let Zunam and her groom spend their honeymoon on the branches.
Hold on. Pause there for a second. Everyone's like, oh, have this thing. Have my gown. Have my silk. And the tree's like, right, you want to fucking top of me?
It's a pervert tree.
Yeah, pervert tree. Ugh.
Have you got a place for tonight? I'll find you one if you want.
I've got some wood for you. Ugh.
My left arm. Packle, the orange tree, put out sweet-smelling blossoms, as did Nice Tea, the plumeria vine. Has, the banana bush, Op, the custard apple tree, and Pitchy and Put, the guava and papaya bushes, made certain that their fruits were ripe so the wedding guests would find delicious refreshments. And finally, a large band of butterflies in all colours arrived to dance and flutter and galley around the Hummingbird's wedding site. At the end of this, Matt, I'm going to make you recite all the names of the people I just said.
Oh my god. That's actually quite funny.
When the wedding day arrived, Zunum was so surprised, happy, and grateful that she could barely twitter her vows. The Great Spirit so admired her humble, honest soul that he sent word down with his messenger, Cozumel, the swallow, that the Hummingbird could wear her wedding gown for the rest of her life. Sounds quite impractical, actually.
Yeah.
And to this day, she has. How did the humility of one long ago hummingbird cause its descendants to sport brilliant colours?
Firstly,
it ends on a little food for thought.
It does, but also it's kind of like, I feel like it's like a plot hole that they haven't covered. It's like, how did the humility of one long ago hummingbird do this? I don't know. Figure out yourselves.
Can you imagine if films ended with the main character looking off screen, breaking the fourth wall, and just saying a major plot hole and being like, "Yeah, didn't think about that, did you?"
Also, what I love about Zunum is that she's so surprised and happy and grateful that she could barely twitter her vows. So instead of talking to her groom, she's like, like, let me type this out, David. Come on, I'm like, let me do it. Like, but also, what I like, Dan.
That's a nice origin story, by the way. By the way, have we done the jingle to go into the thing?
No, we can. We'll do it in 1 second. I just want to make one final point.
Okay.
In all, I would say 99.99% of myths that they kind of objectify women, or like there's this servant girl, or like there's this person who is really important but she's not named. This is a role reversal where Zunum gets a heyday, and the groom isn't mentioned once. Fair play.
That's true, actually. That is true. I like this myth, actually. It was cute.
Right, time to head over into the final part of this podcast, and let's rank this myth. So, Dan, we rank this in 4 different categories: life skills, morals, creativity, and WTF. Let's start off with life skills. What are the practical things that we learned?
We learned how to make a wedding dress.
We did, actually.
We learned how to make a carpet. We learned how to make a hotel room for the honeymoon suite. We learned how to create ripe fruit for refreshments. We learned how to make honey and nectar.
We also learned how to fucking a tree.
We learned how to fucking a tree.
Learned how to do our vows.
We learned how to make a necklace. We learned how to make a crown. We learned how to weave a veil from spider silk.
We also learned how to put together a WhatsApp group, because all these people were texted by Kanak, the honeybee, and like, right, we need to do something for our wedding now, right? But she looks a bit bland in that. Let's
so I actually feel like we learned a lot, right? There was a lot of like creation stuff. There's probably even other stuff we've missed. Rings, they made the rings.
I'm gonna say it, Dan. I'm gonna say it. 9.
It is a 9. That's rare for life skills. Come on, give it a 9.
Am I doing it? Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, sorry, I can't do it at the moment.
That's cool. I see what's happening here, yeah.
And then we've got morals. Now, you alluded to this, Matthew. I think... Well, are the morals that high? Is there people? I suppose there was, actually. And actually, it's weird that this moral... A lot of them come at the end, but this moral actually kind of gave the premise quite early on, which is that actually it's about not judging people despite their looks. It's about... Because the hummingbird was always there for everyone and was such a nice friend, that's all that matters in a time of need. Like, those people are going to get looked after more than someone who's maybe already looking glamorous or nice.
This feels like it could be a Pixar short, and it'd be really cute.
It really, really would.
Like, because the hummingbird is beautiful without all the things, but it is enriched, and it develops more spirituality and kindness from its friends, who want to help and give. It's really sweet. Yeah. I don't think we need to label this point too much, and I genuinely think it's really, really high, because it's firstly, it's a nice story. When else do we get a nice story? Like obviously it's going to lose all the points in WTF, but I'm going to go out on a limb here. 10
for morals.
Maybe, yeah.
I think like an 8.
All right, 9.
All right, deal.
Yeah,
that's a nice moral, to be fair. Then we've got creativity. Creativity. Now, was it that creative? There was a lot of... do you know what this myth did do, which is quite funny? Particularly, I think we can all agree the Norse mythology was very bad for this, which is giving erroneous details such as complicated names for really no reason.
You aren't going to see these people ever again.
No, I mean Norse was really bad because you remember they'd name like tables, everything would have a name. But this was maybe that's a bit different. But it was creative though because it's a good origin story, and origin stories by their very nature are quite creative. You know, it's a good explanation for how hummingbirds look so beautiful. It's because so many people came together to create such a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, and yeah, I kind of feel like it's. I like the idea that everyone comes together, and I think there's genuine points for it being quite. There's zero conflict in this, and that's quite, and it's still an interesting story, and that's. I know usually conflict is very good for a story, but I actually think it's quite sweet. You know, it's just it's a feel good piece of media. I don't think it's high though. I think it's quite low. Maybe a 4 or 5 at push. 4 maybe.
4. And then we've got WTF, not too high here, the what the fuck factor. I mean, the tree, you alluded, let them bang on the
sex tree.
On it, the sex tree. There wasn't really anything that was messed up, actually. It all just kind of made sense, and it was all good, and it just, like, worked. It was just a cute little story. It was just nice and sweet and wholesome.
Yeah, I mean, it feels... sadly, no one was murdered.
Yeah, no one was murdered. There was no eyes being ripped out, family incest, none of the good stuff, you know?
I think...
This is no Set versus Horus, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. Those were the glory days, weren't they? That was when it was weekly. Right, so I think maybe I'm loath to say it, but maybe a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, should you give it 2, benefit of the doubt, because of the sex tree?
Yeah, sex tree is always worth 2. So that's 9 for life skills, 9 for morals, and that is 4 for creativity, leaving us with 24 in total.
Yep, the 2-4.
It's
not terrible.
Pretty good. Again, I think a lot of the Mayan ones really do lose out on WTF. Back in Greek,
they
and
do.
Roman.
They're too. They don't have the same oomph factor that some of the other. They're almost too good at being like just general stories.
For
like
sure.
You can really tell that they're stories maybe for children or for they're very wholesome people.
Yeah,
they're not the Vikings or the Egyptians or the Greeks or the Romans that seem to just enjoy stories about all kinds of horrific
absolutely.
things.
And then apparently, hold on, there's an extra paragraph here. Apparently, Zeus came down into this myth
and banged the hummingbird.
Yeah, and fucked them all.
I was going to joke about Zeus because that's the sort of thing you'd happen in Greek. Okay, gather round, children, for this wonderful story. Okay, so Zeus is banging this girl. It's always right from the off. It's a bit WTF. Whereas this just isn't the same for mine. But they're good stories nonetheless. They're always colourful and creative, and
absolutely. And well, I think that was a lovely end, a very sweet end to the Mayan mythology. And Dan, do you know what might be in store for the next time?
Sure.
Do you want to tell us?
I actually think it will be Celtic. I'm thinking of doing some Celtic myths.
Very, very nice. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to do that, but very, very exciting indeed. And Dan, should we do some social media and then F off?
Go on.
I was hoping you would do it. Can you remember what
social media? Email us mythspodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us Twitter and Facebook at mythspodcast.
Email mythspodcast@gmail.com.
And did I say that?
You said just at mythspodcast, but anyway, just at gmail.com. And finally,
I said gmail.com.
Well, we can look at. I don't think you did, but we can have a. I'll leave it in the edit so people can find out.
Okay.
I'll actually snip it out. But yeah, anyway, please, if you'd like really hilarious podcasts like this, please check out Castable, which is my my podcast about. I get famous people to pitch their dream music festival. It's a lot of fun. Do check it out. And on top of that, why don't you check out my Twitch at Matt House Comedy? There's a lot of I do broadcast 3 nights a week, and it's really, really good. Dan, have you ever seen me do a stream?
No.
Cheers, mate.
Ask me if I'm going to.
Are you going to?
No. I'm busy that day.
That's hurtful, Dan.
I should do, really. I should do.
Yeah, I think you'd be surprised. They're quite good.
No, I have no doubt. That's why I wouldn't do it. It makes my ego hurt.
Yeah. Do you feel hurt?
Well, it's just, you're doing so good and you're doing great stuff, and it's sad,
Well, you're always welcome to join the horse stream.
What are you video gaming or, yeah?
It's mostly just chatting these days, but I do, I do video games on top of stuff there, but more
On Twitch?
Yeah. So I've got over 1.4k followers at the time of recording, and also follow me and subscribe to my YouTube too. There's lots of cool stuff on there. I'm doing regular stuff on that. So Dan, I'm a content creator these days.
You really are, actually. You really are. I'm proud of you. Actually, you're doing a good job.
Thank you, and it's gonna be nice. And with your mum being my dad, I'm only gonna go for strength to strength, really. So
exactly.
But yeah,
it's been lovely to get back in the saddle to do some myths, Matthew. I've enjoyed it so.
And Dan, I can't wait to chat to you in 8 months' time for our next episode.
I look forward to seeing you then when you're old with a beard and have
No, I genuinely do. I think we should try and get on this again. I definitely think Fortnite would be nice, but we just haven't. It's just trying to find time, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise, we'll make it work. We'll make it work. And yeah, thanks for sticking with us. And I've been Dan Rhodes.
I've been Matt Hoss, and we've been
Myths. Boom! We actually did an outro correctly.
Then we have to ruin it by saying.
I just did that when yeah. I've ruined it now.
Myths.
Continue. We can cut this out. We can sort it out.
Myths.
I don't think we can.
Myths.
Bye.
Bye.
Myths. 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 Myths.
Matt, if you're not at the league table, you're getting it for your birthday. Oh!
I'm writing down a big edits list, so I don't have to listen to all the way through.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened just then. Nothing happened. I didn't drop anything.